Hey guys, so we have word of the new hero that's coming out, Watchman. You can see him up here. I wanted to do a quick intro video, maybe not that quick, going into what we know of his abilities, where he may stand as a hero, where we use him, and then potentially if you should be pulling for him. So, let's get started. Let's start with a rundown of his skills. All text is over there, but the idea is that at 10 stars, his skill does 180% attack to the enemy front line. He is a warrior, so he does have a chance of missing, but because he's hitting the entire front line, the chance of him completely missing his skill is not that high. He also gives a full shield to all allies. Now, this is a new mechanic that we've never seen before. Most likely it acts just like adding HP to them. Meaning, so if they add 250 HP to it, if they take 250, it goes away, and the rest of the damage is then applied to their HP. If the shield is not burned in 2 rounds, then it goes away and all future damage goes to their HP. We don't know how they're going to implement it. They could do something funky, but ideally we can treat it as bonus HP. But it's not the same as healing, so it will not be affected by Azathoth. It also gives all allies reduced damage from abnormal statuses, damage over time, such as poison, bleed, burn, minus 30%. So he is a kind of a direct counter to Aegina as well. Poor Aegina, she got hurt by Lorelei, and now she's getting hurt by Watchman. Kind of sucks. At T4, all the numbers go up. The biggest change to his T4 is that his skill adds a 30% chance to stun for 2 rounds, which is potentially very strong. If we look at his passives, here is something that is kind of interesting. It says HP plus 40%. Right here, HP plus 40%. However, if we look at his current max HP, it's actually lower than, say, Martin. So this potentially is a bug that it's just not displayed correctly, maybe. This is something we'll have to find out when he actually comes out. He gets attack plus 15, defense plus 10, passive 2. His regular attacks increases his defense plus 2. This doesn't have a timer on it, so it means that on longer games that go past like 6 to 10 rounds, he could become quite the monster. Unless they have Ragnarok, in which case it doesn't matter. It also has 55% chance to stun on his regular attack, which is pretty nice. So he's going to function very nicely with a stun team. This one is actually pretty crazy. When an ally hits below 30% HP, they get a shield that is 80% of his max HP for 4 rounds. And then they also get 90% skill damage extra for 4 rounds. Now we can treat this like a pseudo revive, meaning if they get hit and drop below 30, it's basically the same as reviving them because they get 80% of his max HP. So we can treat it as if you have Watchman and Scold, you have 2 revives. So if we put all of this together, what we look at is a warrior who doesn't do a whole lot of damage. His base attack stat is quite low. He gives a shield, which is very strongly anti-Kurt. He gives a revive. He basically is ultra support. Now, between him and Azathoth, we have 2 heroes that are very strongly anti-burst, very strong support. However, they're not going to bring that oomph to your team on their own. What does this mean for how he does as an alliance? Well, at this time, since we don't have the aura changes yet, I would say that for Unity, he's better than Valkyrie if you have big damage. If you don't have big damage, just like Azathoth, he's not going to do all that well for you. His whole point is keeping the rest of your team alive. Assuming that we get him before we get the aura changes, we could see Watchman becoming a very strong counter to Kurt. I think that paired with some big damage, if you pair him with your own Kurt or Themis, yours is guaranteed to go off and do big damage while their Kurt will get completely blocked by his skill. Let me go a little bit into how you use him. We see his speed here, 1223. Now, this is not indicative of his T4 speed, but because relative speed between heroes is the same at T4 as it is at 10 stars, what we can get from this is he's faster than Valkyrie, therefore faster than Kurt, faster than Aegina, faster than Themis. So he is faster than all the big damage dealers, which means that if you gear him for speed and those people don't gear for speed, or even if you don't really gear him for speed, he's guaranteed to fire his skill before the enemy can do any damage to you. If you give him speed, you can also make him go before even like Lorelei or something. He's gonna want speed rune, most likely. Artifact should be energy because you want to fire that shield before the enemy can do anything to you. So if you gear him for big speed and energy, you are kind of invincible for the turn that he fires. If you now pair this with something like Aegina, Dro, somebody that silences their team when they fire, you're basically, they have zero chance of killing you in the first 2 to 3 turns. So he's going to be an ultimate defensive hero. However, if you don't have the damage to back him up, and you have giant defense in 3 rounds and you do no damage to them, well, they're just going to kill you the turn after that. So he on his own is going to be amazing, but he's going to be an enabler and definitely needs to be paired with somebody strong. Should you pull for him? So most likely he will be available in the next key round, which is coming in 2 weeks. Because he's an Alliance hero, there's a decent chance that he may be coming in the Miracle Eyes event after that as a one-time thing, just like Kurt was. We don't know if that's going to be the case. It could be a promotional thing that they do. Let's say that you're waiting for your last copy of Skuld or Valkyrie to make them T4, and you're saving keys for that. Pulling Watchman is not going to help you. You'd rather have a fully complete top-tier hero than 2 to 3 copies of a hero that you will not be able to complete, will not be able to use for a long time yet. Plus, since he's an Alliance, you always have the chance to convert for him, so he's not going to be ultra hard to get, not as hard as Skuld Themis, but if you're still waiting to finish your team and get some final copies of heroes, don't pull for him. If you've already got your Skuld Phoenix Valkyrie set up, or you've already got your Kurt and whatever damage set up, you can use him to enable those heroes. Really, it comes down to, can you use him over the heroes that are classically in keys, and that's going to depend on your own personal where you are in the game. Overall, Watchman, definitely a top-tier hero, top-tier support, potentially better than Valkyrie as paired with the right team, and I think he's going to be pretty solid in peaks as well because of the stun on his regular attack, and his shield is a non-negligible amount of damage. I think he's going to be a great addition, and I'm really glad to see that they released someone in Alliance that was able to shake up the, what we want, because Alliance has really been suffering. After Saizo got broken, he doesn't work anymore, and there's really nobody else that was really strong contenders to replace Valkyrie in Unity. We finally have one that can do it. Alright, that's all for Watchmen, and see you guys next time.